bold predictions. We've got two experts, the Battle Brothers themselves, Sean and Juice. And the way we're going to divide the topics are simple: nerfs and buffs. Sean is taking the nerfs position. Juice is taking the buffs position, and it is bold. Bolder the better. Sean, give me some nerfs.
Because I'm the heel, right?
Always.
And I put the elbow on Juice, so now I gotta nerf myself.
These are all facts. I can't deny them.
And since Juice and I will never play another game, it'll be a long time before he can avenge that L.
We might have to take this show on the road, and when we face potentially at LVO or at Adepticon, now just might be the time.
Mm-hmm. So I think continuing with the pattern of every major FAQ, that Ynnari will again take a hit because they continue to be the people's bad boy, and it's one of the reasons I actually moved away from them personally, is to stop playing the heel, stop playing the easy to argue against, that they're super OP. So I think they're going to take a major hit in Chapter Approved. For sure.
So specifically, what units are left? We talk about the spears?
I mean, I think you'll see it increases points in spears a little bit. I think it'll more be an actual effect on Ynnari. I can't even speculate on what that could be, but I think there'll be a direct rules, maybe like a generic everything you take in Ynnari costs X% more, or maybe they'll cut the interaction of Ynnari until they get a proper codex.
I like that one. That's the bold one. Cut him out. Contrast that, Juice. Give me a buff.
Buff, the one buff that everybody's been waiting for. That is Grey Knights are really going to take a points decrease. Stormbolter is going to be better than ever. I want you to know, rumor mill around, everybody wants to talk about, because the Orcs and Gene Stealer Cult, everybody's talking about these Alpha Legion. Alpha Legion is going to be able to come back, or excuse me, not Alpha Legion, I'm sorry. Noise Marines are just so good. They're going to be shooting, and they got all these shots. And I was like, okay, guys, let me tell you something real quick. What do you guys feel about, let me tell you about a unit. Within 12 inches, they shoot, a 10-man unit shoots 40 shots, right? They can have minuses and pluses to their AP and potentially hitting. And also they have a power weapon. They're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. I was like, guess what? I just said a 10-man Grey Knight Strike Squad. They're like, no way. Well, that unit sucks. I was like, yeah, does it? When these guys take a 3 to 4 point decrease per model and have a 2 of armor save on turn 1, I believe Grey Knights will come back better than ever. And last bold prediction, remember in the great age of 5th edition, when Purifiers had the psychic ability that just tabled orcs?
Oh, Cleansing Flames.
Cleansing Flames. Are you kidding me that we're going to see right now the amazing book, the unicorn book that orc players have been wanting? And then a month later, Chapter Approved is going to come out, and Grey Knights are going to go back to whooping that ass.
It reminds me of how Rob always used to talk about it. He's like, oh, they make this unit, then next week they make the unit to beat it. And sometimes they, people, ban it between those releases, not realizing that there's something to counter everything. It'd be really interesting to see if Grey Knights did take a point, because it's a classic case, Sean, right? Of they're not underruled, they're overpointed.
Yeah, and most of the power armor right now is there's some mysterious guide maybe that the three up save is too strong, and
talking about the old GW flowchart.
Yeah, the old GW flowchart. But with all the negatives in 8th edition, the 3-up isn't what it ever was. And most people aren't.
A 3-up is worse than a 5-up invulnerable.
Yeah. So
truth.
So Sean, what do you got for me? Give me another nerf.
I think Chaos is in that slot to maybe take a hit, because they are super popular. I don't think they're too strong, but I think there's some of their psychic buffs, and especially in the Thousand Suns area, where their casters get smites like Buckwild smites. I think that might decrease, and maybe Zangors could take a hit. I don't know that cultists could go up anymore.
You think the dark matter crystal specifically might get nerfed?
Something along the lines, because any of these Death Star units, I think GW has been trying to get us away from in 8th edition. So that's where we talked about like the Eldar spears, the Yunari spears. Are these Zangors too many buffs stacked on one unit and too many wombo combos that make people get the feel badsies? So I think GW could hit those units.
Makes sense. Zangors do create there's no shortage of feel badsies when a Zangor bomb does a stuck dizzle.
Yeah, there is 1 million things that can be done to them, from psychic abilities, buffs, relics. I mean, they get all the love.
I mean, they get everything, right? They get +1 vulnerable, -1 to hit. There's a +1 attack. There's a hit on 2, +1 to hit. Reroll 1s.
+1 to wound.
There's +1 to wound and a fight twice. There's literally everything.
And pick this unit up and move it where you will.
Oh yeah, also turn 1 charge.
Yeah, and +1 inches when you do charge.
Move in the psychic phase.
Yeah.
Also +1 to charge.
Yep. And they have a weapon. It's not even like they're, just strength 5 attacks or strength 4 attacks. The weapon's -1 AP.
-1 AP.
Huge.
Yeah. Very strong.
Sean, that was your buff. I mean, that was your nerf. We talked a lot about Zangors. I feel it. Juice, give me a buff.
Okay, so we're going to go and I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on the points decretion, and it is going to come from a 7th edition love of mine, that is AdMech. Okay, they are going to get a lot cheaper. I believe that Cadillac Destroyers are for 50 points or around in there is just way too expensive. Just because, again, they have a toughness 5 with 3 or 4 wounds, that doesn't mean shit with a 4-up save and hitting on 4s, right?
Toughness means less than it's ever meant before.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we have that, and I believe that they're going to get a points decrease, specifically because this army, which was not a meta army anyway, was not on anybody's radars except, maybe a handful of people that just really liked Dragoons or whatever else. But the Styges, AdMech faction that they had within, I always forget what to call each one of those, Forge World is what they have, right? Yeah. Okay. So the Styges Forge World was the front runner to kind of create some form of competitive build, got immediately hit with the new FAQ that just came out. So I can only imagine that AdMech sales have been at an all-time low. And these are one of GW's babies that they created in the last 3 years, and they're not going to let these cool-ass models sit on the shelves. I believe that they get a huge point decrease. Not just even like, in my opinion, Grey Knights, they're going to have some models. I think the whole AdMech army in general is going to maybe 5 to 11% decrease in points across the board. Rob, have we seen anything drastic like that ever happen? Like, I'm talking about like codex-wise drop?
Not in chapter approved, I don't think, no.
Or even dating back.
Yeah, I mean, codexes have come out and they've made things more relevant. I think the last Orc book actually did that. I couldn't even tell you how many years ago that was. The one that came out in 2008, I think really made things a lot cheaper, and we saw a lot of competitive builds rise from that. But yeah, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of the same things that we'll see in chapter approved, like to coincide with some of the battle forces that are coming out, that those particular battle forces will get, points to help sell them as well, because it is some of the models that haven't been selling. So that'll be interesting to see. Good sales timing combo there.
Do we have any more nerfs? I think we had a good top 3. Oh, of course.
Of course. What's the big man in the room?
Knights.
Hey, look, first off, he's kind of conscientious about his weight. He wears it well. Okay.
Especially when you keep dropping him.
Hey, not these hands aren't the only ones that drop him. That's getting fixed. He's getting pinned, and magnetized. Rare earth unobtainium magnets are going to hold that bastard together.
Of course, we're talking about Juice's Castellan. It is the big baddie. Everybody's using it. It's probably a little undercosted. I hope they don't knee-jerk crazy like they've done in some cases in the past, because I don't want to see people not be able to play it. But a little bit of an increase could definitely go a long way to smoothing that out.
Yeah. And just to kind of piggyback off that, you guys have heard me say this for a month and a half now. Like, yes, I can get behind. I'm actually, whenever I'm building lists now, I point him at 725 points. That's 100 from where I'm going right now at 593 or 594, because I only give him one set of autocannons on top and 4 missiles, just because it's 12 points cheaper. That guy that's still a substantial points increase. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get to 800. But if you do that, that is a major, major issue if you get any further than the 700-ish. And the only reason why I say that they shouldn't too is because this is GW's model. This is the new baby. But look at what they did to Bobby G. And the Saint even. They didn't double its points overnight. They did a little bit every time. FAQs were coming out, and we didn't even know points were going up, and Bobby G was 25 more points expensive, right? It seemed like his point value went up every 3 months for the first, 12 for the first year of
Wasn't that the Fire Raptor went like up in points, then back down in points, then back up to somewhere in between?
Yep. Gene, yeah, especially if we can go down that rabbit hole. Gene Stealers did the same thing. They were, depending on what book you picked up, they were either 17 or 15 or 12, all within, 4
I think
months.
that was before GW realized that chapter approved, I think, was going to be where most of their point fixes were, right?
Yeah.
So they were just going crazy, and now that's why it's good to talk about it for chapter approved, because they've been holding back on this. They've been fixing stratagems, rewording a couple things, making them one use per game, maybe making them more CPs. They really haven't been messing around too much with points.
Yep.
There's definitely going to be some nerfs and buffs.
I got a banger. I got a banger for a positive, but I just want to say it again because I got to say it on every show. Everybody wants to talk about there's a big bad guy and there's a bully. But you Imperium players, you Xenos players that aren't Eldar, a damn Castellan is keeping the universe in check, at bay. It still gets beat. It still is, it's not unbeatable. But that beautiful bastard he is the sheriff of all the universe. So as soon as we say that he's pointed out of existence, guess what all these Knight players are going to say? All right, cool. I'm going to run 3 gallons. You thought one was bad. Now there's nobody that kills the Knights. Magnus and Mortarion get to go unchecked through 3-round tournaments, right? They don't have to actually play maybe a dice-off game in the first, second couple rounds, right? Like, so either way, before we start saying he's the man that needs to go, remember, there's always got to be one. So, Kenny, my banger that I think, shy of the Sisters, right? Everybody knows Sisters coming out. I think in tandem with the Sisters coming out in this year's chapter approved, I believe that they are going to open up the door and the gates to allow assassins to be brought more readily into Imperium armies, and they will not take up a detachment.
That'd be kind of huge, man. Because the assassins, they got some good rules, man.
Dude, every Evisor assassins fulfill a close combat element to every Imperium army.
I love that dude. That dude can just show up and grab and get these charges off. And I mean, 2 of those guys can do some work. And then obviously the QLex's assassin is insanity annoying. Like, I'd like to see that for sure.
I mean, Imperial agents are a great thing to have to pair with. You could even bring back Inquisitors, because if you think about it, the Sisters are orders of Hereticus, right? So they're part of the Inquisition. Technically, they're a militant arm, just like the Grey Knights are. So I can definitely see it. It all goes hand in hand to add to that excitement level.
So that was
Yeah,
that was
that'd be
basically a top
interesting if they
3.
brought that in with a keyword, because currently you can take a bunch of different Marine chapters, and Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Blood Angels, all in the same detachment because they all share the Adeptus Astaris keyword. If they brought in something like Ordo, blah, 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 as a keyword and put it in Sisters and Grey Knights and Assassins and Inquisitors, so that they would lose all their special rules, but you could bring in them all in the same detachment. That might be some interesting way to get all those things work together in like a semi soup list.
Death Watch too.
Yeah.
Oh, Death Watch, of course.
You could have Ordo Xenos in there.
Yeah. If you had like an Ordo keyword, Ordo blank keyword.
Chapter Approved might come up with a new Ordo keyword. I like that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's Ordo D.
Ordo D.
D's nuts.
D's what?
D's nuts.
Rob, give me a bold prediction.
Show of hands. How many people are going to be upset if all those $170 nights and all those $150 nights get nerfed into extinction and they haven't even had them for 6 months? Like,
don't put that evil on me right now. It's getting late. I'm trying to get some good sleep tonight. I don't want to be mad. Don't want to go to bed pissed off. Like, there's been some amazing shit that has happened in the year of 2018. Our good 40K Lord and Savior has blessed us with. Let's not ruin it on the eve of 2019 by telling me that the beautiful baby night child that you have blessed us with is being stolen out of our damn manger. Okay. And I can't play with it anymore. I will be so irately mad. If y'all thought Mike Haspel's Salt episode of the Space Wolf some 4 months ago, it will not even be, that won't even be in comparison to what I'm going to do, not even in the same field. If GW takes away a Castellan, makes it unplayable in matched play, I don't care what happens in open play. I don't care about anything else. If you point him out of existence, if he hits 800 points, the proverbial table is getting flipped.
So I'm just sitting here listening, just taking notes, trying to come in with an intelligent conversation. You said the following phrases. It's going to take multiple people. It's going to be very involved. It's actually going to be really hard to get people interested. There's going to be a lot of internet pressure from both the back and the front, and there will be a release.
Yep, that checks out.